G'day and welcome. I'm Peter Bender from Bundaberg Commercial, and you've joined us on our journey on how to buy your first commercial property in 70 days. Now, why is it that there are millions of books around on self-help? In regards to finance, real estate, emotional issues, psychology, marriages, everything from how to make better macrame through to being the world's greatest political leader. And why is it that so many people fail to actually achieve the result? And that is what today's mission is going to be about. Having a look at you as an individual to make sure that we give you the best odds of succeeding in buying your first commercial property. And we'll use the material that we get for today as a platform for tomorrow's lesson. So make sure you stay tuned because we're going to start building things on as we go. Yesterday we spoke a bit about your support network and understanding your motivations in regards to buying commercial property. We're going to expand upon that a little bit today and talk about personality types. Now, some personality types are just successful at stuff and others aren't. Some personality types are great at caring for people and others aren't. Like my poor wife, when she's not well, I'm a great doctor, but I'm a shocking nurse. So it's different folks have different strokes, as they say. And there are various personality type courses and quizzes, and I love them. You should have fun when you're doing some learning. I think one of the fun ones I had was they call it the dope test. What an unfortunate name! It's a 4-bird process, and they have a look if you are if you're a dove, which is a peacekeeper, an owl, which is wise, or those who are sarcastic with owls, they're nighttime predators. So that gives you a different idea on what an owl type personality is. You got peacocks, they're the hello, look at me, da 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 da, I'm all bright and shiny and why it's all about me. And then you've got the eagle, which is the other one. And I remember when I was doing it with my group across the 2 offices, and it was at a time when I was almost like the token male in the company. And sure enough, we had a couple of peacocks and a couple of doves and a couple of owls, and I was the eagle. And that pretty well shut down the whole discussion from there on in, but it was fun. One of the more popular processes for personality types is the DISC process, D-I-S-C, and that relates to dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. Now, there's no real right or wrong. Realistically, you're looking at a continuum. So everybody has a dominance component of their personality, and some people just have more than others. Everyone has a bit of influence. So there's no right or wrong. Where the benefit of understanding your personality comes in is it enables you to highlight probably your natural skill set. And we're going to use personality tests for a very particular reason. When you start negotiating with people, you're going to find, whether it's real estate agents, buyers, sellers, tenants, even lawyers and accountants on your own side, you need to understand what personality type that you have as well as what they have, because sometimes you just won't get on with people, and that is not going to help you when you want to try and get a goal, and that goal can be as simple as buying a commercial property. You need to be able to understand yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses, and understand what it is that makes the other person tick, not so that you can manipulate them, but so that you can negotiate and discuss and communicate in a way that's going to get the result that you need. Now, I'll put some links in here for the DISC personality test. I'm not going to put the dope one in. I don't think too much of it, but you can look that up on the internet if you want to. But the one that I want to work on is what's called MBTI. Yeah, means a lot, doesn't it? It actually means Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, and it was named after a mother-daughter parapsychologist who put it together quite a long time ago. Now, my first mentor put me through the program for MBTI, so I understood that quite well. And what gave it a lot of credibility, I mean, it seemed logical and well-founded to me at that time. But probably 2 decades later, I did another test, and I got the exact same result. Now, when you look at statistics, what you want is something like that's reliable. So if you did the same test a couple of times, you want the same result. So that one has a lot of credibility for me, and I find it works out easy. So there's 4 dichotomies that they look at, and there's essentially you get 4 initials because, and helps you put people in particular boxes, and everyone likes to be able to understand people by putting them in boxes. So the first pair of initials is you're either an E or an I. Now, E is for extroverts, I is for introverts. Now, what extroverts and introverts is not is in regards to how they communicate. An extrovert is not necessarily someone who talks a lot. And an introvert, likewise, is not necessarily someone who doesn't talk a lot. Most people will look at me and consider me to be an extrovert. Hello, I'm a leader. Hello, I do sales. I'm always talking to people. I'm always in meetings. But no, I'm not actually an extrovert. I'm actually an introvert. And the way the definition of it is how someone gets their energy. And that's the key component. Now, an extrovert, when they're feeling a little bit flat, a little bit lackluster, they need to go and talk to somebody. And I remember when we had COVID and we had lockdown, it seems like so long ago, I got my team all set up in their homes, and I rang the very first morning. I rang one of my girls and I said, "Oh, how you going?" She says, "Oh, it's really tough, boss. It's 8:30 and I haven't spoken to anybody. It's killing me." I said, "Toughen up, princess. We've got 7 weeks of lockdown." And she is a wonderful lady, but my gosh, she gets her energy from people. And putting her in a home in lockdown, it was the worst type of torture you could give her. So that is an example of someone who gets energy from people. That's an extrovert. Likewise, an introvert. How do they get energy? Well, if I've been doing a training session, at the end of the training session, I am a mess. I'm usually sitting in the corner and I'm just plumb tuck it out. And all I want to do is sit down and read a book or play a game of chess for an hour or two. And that's how I get my energy as an introvert. All right, the next pair of letters is intuitives and sensates. Now, if it was intuitive, you'd have the letter I, but we've already used the letter I for introverts. So they actually use intuitives as N, and sensates, they use that for S. Okay, so what's the difference between those two? Sensates will be, I feel that this is the case. It's all about the senses. I can touch this. I know what it's about. I can smell the troubles coming around the corner. They are signs, verbal signs from people that they are sensate. They need to use their senses, and that's how they assimilate information. That's how they make decisions. It's thinking process that they have in it. It's quite unique to watch from them. And then you've got intuitives. Now, these are the people who work on things like gut feel. And you'll find there's a theory of when people have gut feel that it's related to their experience. Someone who's got a lot of experience tends to have a gut feel. They can say, "Oh, I can just see where this is going. We've been down this path before," or I've got a nose for this type of situation. It's very much, you can't actually put anything tangible to it. It's just it's almost like that sixth sense, that intuition, and that is the modem for intuitives. Thinkers and feelers is probably the easiest way to explain it. And you can pick that up from people's languages. Thinkers will take their time. They'll have a look at the different options. They'll be quite analytical. They'll work on scenarios and hypotheses. They'll do testing and beta testing, sample testing, user-centered designers, anything they can to try and get some more information to make sense out of it from a cognitive point of view. And then we have the pair of initials T and J for thinkers and judgmentals. And it's almost like the speed of making decisions. And you'll have judgmentals who'll say, "No, look, let's make the decision. Go, don't care, haven't got time for it. Let's run with it." And that is the mode for what you have on the judgmentals. And where MBTI comes in at the end, as I mentioned, you come up with 4 initials. So you're either, if you're E for an extrovert, and you're S for a sensate, and you're a T for a thinker, and you're J for judgmental, then you're classed as what is an ESTJ. And essentially you come up with 16 different personality types. Now, not all people are in boxes equally. Some categories there are more people, and some people in categories there's only like 3 or 4% of the population in that. So it's not like it's evenly distributed. And you will find that certain occupations will have certain groupings. So I'll share the story. I was in the tax office and my boss pulled me over one day. He says, Peter, you're just going to really struggle with the people in the tax office because they are a very different personality type to you. I'm what's called an INTJ, and they model that as someone like an architect or an engineer is the type of personality that I have. But you go into the tax office or public service that's dominated by ESTJs. So you've got an extrovert who works on sensations versus an introvert who works on intuition. And it's it took me a while to understand the different personality types. And that is the point of what we're doing today. We're going to have a look at what type of personality you are and then get an understanding of that so that when you start feeling rubbed up the wrong way by people, you can suddenly use that as a frame of reference and say, okay, I'm this personality type, they're that personality type. Okay, they're looking for information in this particular way. They may want to have an inspection so they can use their senses, or they may want to get some financials so that they can have a look at the numbers and do some thinking and number crunching is the way that we look at it. So I've put in the comments the sites that you can do some free tests. Now, you can just race through this, but like I said, each day builds on another day. So take your time. It takes about 45 minutes to do an MBTI one, so it's a pretty serious one, whereas the dope one takes about 2 minutes, but it's okay. So have a look at working out. And like I said, it doesn't matter which one it is. I just want you to start on that journey of understanding yourself. Now, another reason why I want you to understand yourself is, let's take a scenario of one of my clients. He is a specialist mechanic for European cars. Now, he could be in a situation where I could come in and he could give me the manuals, he can give me the diagnostic machines, he could give me the BMW, and he can say, the processes are in place, go and service that vehicle. Now, I have no idea one end of a screwdriver to the other end. I'm not mechanically inclined whatsoever. And this is the point that we made at the beginning, why so many people fail on these self-help guides. Because they need to be the person before they can take the skills. So what I mean by that, you need to have some mechanical aptitude, in my case, in order to be the person who can make those, servicing the European vehicles. Likewise, there's no fairy godmother going to come up and give you a magic wand and touch you on the shoulder to let you know that you are now a commercial property investor. I need to get you to the stage where you are ready to be able to assimilate the information on how to become a commercial property investor. So yes, we're going to go through due diligence, we're going to go through finance, we're going to go through inspections, we're going to go through contract. There's going to be all that material in there as well, but it's not much use giving it to you today. It will be okay in 2 days' time, but we just need to finally finish that little bit of work that we're doing on the mental side of being able to buy your first commercial property in 70 days. Now, behind me, you'll see the chart that we had. Now, in week 1, we spoke about getting a cardboard cutout and putting on a picture of a property that you'd like to do, like to purchase. It's like a mission board, if you wish. And as we go through each particular day, we're going to take off the numbers appropriate. So if you've done your homework, and the first day is, mine's buried in here. Your homework for the first day, remember, was to get hold of the book Commercial Reality, How to Buy Commercial Property Like the 7%. Now, it'll probably take you a week to get it down from Amazon, so once it's received, get into particularly the first couple of chapters, because they are very much about mental space and getting you prepared to buy your first commercial property. On the second day, which is, mine are mixed all over the place. There's 2. Your main homework for the second day was to cut out the board and get the pictures and get supplies that you need to run with. thinking. So item 3 was in regards to understanding your support, understanding the reason that you've got, the methodology that you've got, why you want to go. We also went through property types in one of the earlier units, so make sure that you've done those homework, because it's only when you've done the homework you can take down the little bits and pieces. Now day 4, that stays up there because I want you to do your personality test. Have some fun, get your family and friends involved with it as well, get the kids to do it. It cracks up. You suddenly look at everybody differently. Now for tomorrow we're going to do what's called a SWOT, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. But we're going to do it from a point of view of buying your first commercial property in 70 days. Till tomorrow, take care and God bless. This is Peter. Oh no, shorts. Well, it is the long weekend. Now, last week we looked at the area of being able to... What did I do last week? What did I do yesterday?